episode of the Pop Shock podcast. I've lost track of what episode we're on, but today we are here to talk about the recent monopolization / cannibalization of the gaming industry. We're joined by a few guests. First of all, Jerd's here. Jerd was here last week. How you doing, mate? How's your tooth?
My tooth?
Were you not at the dentist?
Nope.
No.
No, I was talking about getting set up with a doctor, but no dentist.
Just generally, how are your teeth? Are they all right? Just a curiosity. Grand, good.
Yeah, grand. As can be expected with all this shite I eat. Yeah.
I'm glad we can go on now knowing it's
your left baby toe.
Chris, what's going on, mate? You still not got a webcam. It's not good enough.
I know. I'm raging.
Well,
see, to be honest, this bloody webcam's got a virus or something.
You know that what we are known for here is fucking professionalism. So you not having a webcam.
I know it brings it down, degrades
production's just seamless as fuck.
I mean, my face pays for the bills, you know.
It's working as we speak.
My teeth are fantastic, you know, very sensitive.
The only paperwork your face is on is the fucking sex offenders list.
No, mate, don't fucking joke about that. Fucking the police will come up, tap my door. Oh no, can't have
we've got another very special guest actually because
I'm autistic.
That too, is special more than one way. But
it's a beautiful face so far.
The fucking prototype for whoa, Chris's face just flashed on my face.
I see that.
Did you see that, Jerd?
I didn't see it as Chris's. I just saw the flash.
Oh, that was weird. Okay.
That's a start. It
happened again. Right, let's just ignore that. Back to my webcam, Santi. So the prototype for basically what we're doing now was me and Jonathan in college talking shit into a mic.
We're very good at it.
No really having a clue, being informed well on anything. But so we're going to talk today about the gaming industry because none of us work in it or really know anything about it, but we feel like we're authorities.
Yeah, we've got some opinions.
We've got opinions, we do. How will we frame this for the folks that are the only guy with a PS5 here, by the way?
Yeah, how fucking no idea how I heard.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah, we're very up to date.
Yes.
But yeah, no. When it comes to the industry, things are changing. If you don't know, if you've been living under a rock, there was 3 major deals made in January, which is the most in 1 month, like in terms of money changing hands between companies ever. It was kind of insane. The first one was a mobile company. It was Tencent, bought a mobile company, but there's a shitload of money in mobile gaming, so it still was a fair few million. Then Microsoft acquired Activision Blizzard, which was a pretty big deal. Me and Massimo actually done an episode on that last week, so that'll probably be uploaded by the time you hear this, if you want to go and listen to that. And since then, Sony has acquired Bungie. So it seems more and more like these big corporations are just gobbling up the wee developers, and it's kind of a bit worrying from a consumer perspective, I think. Does MD have a take on that so far, just on what's happening? Like, are you concerned, or are you just thinking, well, maybe it'll be better, maybe they'll make the games better? Like,
see, that's the only kind of thing I'm thinking. Like, Bungie done the Halo series, right, and they went in their own kind of direction with Destiny. But maybe because they've been that was their own kind of vision. But maybe if they've been acquired by Activision, they might get splash more cash and stuff. That's the only kind of fun bit. But
by Sony, you mean?
Oh, acquired by Sony, shit, sorry. Yeah, but like that's the only kind of element. But you're going to be restricted probably because the guys will have like leads on them and say, right, you can't do this, or something like that.
I think me and Mass somewhat covered this last week, but it seems like these corporations are maybe waiting for a moment where the developers are maybe slightly on the back foot. Like Xbox bought Bethesda in 2019, right? And at that time, the shit show that was Fallout 76 was still on everybody's mind, and Bethesda were kind of, the stocks were dropping and things like that. People were leaving the company and shit. So they kind of struck while they were down, and they kind of done the same back to Activision Blizzard after the whole like horrible Gamergate lawsuit that happened last year, with like the inappropriate touching and other messed up shit that happened. With Bungie, I just don't see unless they've got a new IP, like what you buy, Destiny, and I just.
They don't own Halo anymore, though, don't they?
No,
no,
still own Halo. They own the license to Halo. Bungie don't.
Yeah, 343 do.
Oh, right. Yeah, they don't have that anymore. Which, to be honest with you, I like. Besides the fact that we might have mentioned it in other pods, but like I do have a PS5, but I'm completely out of the gaming loop. Really, like I'm now currently playing God of War, like so, and I'm kind of behind on stuff. So like
That's
the whole.
That's not a bad place to start.
No. Well, I again, I probably mentioned this before, but I have had a gaming laptop for the last while, so I've been playing bits and bobs here. But the whole like gaming, the machinations of like the companies and shit, I'm clueless on. And just in general, I never really an area I learned much about. I just know that the GTA guys are dickheads.
Well,
they're from Scotland.
Yeah.
Well, I do actually have a mate who is like I won't mention anything about it, but he's developing a game now. And no, he's not developing a game with them, but like it's a small game, but should be out in the next year or two. So I've learned a little bit from him. My nephew's a big gamer, so I know bits and bobs, but like all of this stuff, I don't know.
I didn't realise how out of the loop you were, Jerd, but that's actually a good thing because it means you can be like the kind of audience surrogate. You can
get like a good kind of perspective to say this is a lot of shite.
Well, right, if you're looking at it as a whole, right, the way it's going, in my eyes, my prediction, it's going the way that blockbuster movies are going. The way that Disney are gobbling up Star Wars and all these IPs, Marvel, and Pam and Tommy's on Disney Plus for Christ's sake. Like they're just everything's just Disney now. And it's or Amazon, or Netflix.
Well, I will say that films are now worse now than they were 5 years ago because of that.
What specifically? What examples?
Creativity is dead.
Oh, really?
In terms of making money, because I still, the way I see it, right, there is still great independent films coming out, but
there's a few,
but not a lot. Of, they're not getting any hype.
I think I probably disagree with that in general. I know there's different routes for getting films now. Like there's, there is true streaming sites. Like look at Chris eating on a podcast is not a good idea.
Chewing-gum, Jesus.
Not a good idea. That was like anti-ASMR. But like say like indie kind of horror films, like horror has kind of fucking taken off massively in the last 5 years or whatever. Obviously, in the cinema, you do still have a lot of like superhero stuff, but I would think I wouldn't see that in general. I think it's changed certainly, but I think you're still getting good stuff film wise.
Do you think the blockbuster landscape's changed?
Completely. I had to watch Shang-Chi Legend of the Ten Rings and it ruined my life.
How?
That is one of the worst films I've ever seen. But
really?
Yeah, it was the most popular film of the year or whatever. It was horrific.
What did you hear about Shang-Chi?
Absolutely everything about it. It is formulaic, it is horrific, it is no consequences, it meant nothing.
I take you didn't see Eternals.
Of course not.
Because that was even more that. See what you're talking about, that was Eternals.
And I just feel like every film's like that now. And I think it's the same with games, and I think we should just give up and accept that any art form is dead and it's over.
I love it. I think films are kind of going a similar way of games in the sense that it's becoming so expensive to make. Like back in the day, especially with gaming because it's such a young kind of media form, two guys could make a PS2 game and it would be able to compete with something that EA was making.
Yeah.
Like that has totally changed, and I think it kind of happens the same with films. Like me and Conor went to see a film called Boiling Point. I think we spoke about it in the podcast before. One of the best films I've ever seen. It was amazing.
Oh yeah.
It came out at the start of the year. It was a one take, kind of an hour and a half movie about a chef having a breakdown, and it sounds really basic. It was fucking incredible. Like it was.
What's his name again? Graham.
Stephen Graham.
Stephen Graham. I was nearly going to say Mikey Graham, the guy from Boyzone.
My point was
can't
going
be
to
done
be
anymore.
no one. See, when I was telling people I was going to see that, what you got to see? What's that? Like, it's this independent British film. Like, it's just, and you have to give the whole backstory, and it's happening. It's happening more and more, and I feel like small, exciting projects are getting smothered by what makes money.
They can't compete. They just can't.
Yeah.
It's too expensive to make a game now. So no one can do anything, and it's ruining gaming.
So
I think you could counter that with saying this could be the start of the revolution of companies just giving like fuck off. I'm
They're
going
too
to
powerful.
I'm going to
can't
make
beat
my
them.
own
They're too
independent
But right,
thing.
I agree. Right, what you're saying, you can't beat them, but there's a whole thing you can't beat enjoy them. Like you're saying that small companies, maybe independently, can't compete with the big ones.
I don't think
So
so, no.
surely then the best thing for them is to be bought by
Join the
somebody.
force.
Yeah, but then you get the corporate influence, don't you?
Yeah.
And then you get fucking like I bought Dying Light, it's a relatively big studio or whatever.
Mhm.
Doesn't work.
Yeah.
But that was some marketing guy in marketing and some CEO that pushed that game and it was incomplete and doesn't work.
So it's
Yeah.
same with that,
Pretty common now with.
same story.
Yeah,
Most
same
games.
story.
Yeah.
It leads to bad art. It looks bad in the developers. It's
Yeah.
But do you not say, like, maybe just going back to films, do you not have, like, I assume Glasgow being the size of a city that I'm assuming it is, but do you not have, like, art house cinemas too?
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, it's
GFT,
GFT, and I guess the Grosvenor is kind of like
Yeah, like even in Dublin here, we have the Lighthouse Cinema, which, like it will show a certain type of blockbuster and it does show classics and stuff, but they constantly just have art house films in.
Don't get me wrong. Like I will say, like Odeon and Cineworld and what was the other one? Showcase. They actually do a decent job of like I seen Boiling Point in a Showcase cinema, and not only did they show the film, but they also had a Q&A with Stephen Graham and the director after it that they kind of
Yeah.
So like that's a cinema chain, but they're still supporting smaller films. It wasn't a full cinema hall; it was like all full.
Yeah. I know, like Marvel is pushing a lot out and we're getting away from games.
It's basically just Disney. They just accumulating everything and taking any art.
Do you think there will be a day where they own Netflix and Amazon as well?
No,
Maybe
I don't.
There's a
think
lot.
they'll-
They wouldn't be able
maybe
to.
Netflix.
I can see Disney buying Netflix.
Not
Really? No. What
They
was the point?
couldn't. So Netflix is fairly set in there. Like as someone was saying, like it's Netflix done so well because it's the first one, so it just got that.
The other big rumor for Disney to acquire is Warner Bros. In which case they go DC and Marvel. That's been a rumor for a while.
That's a strong.
Like Apple TV, obviously they can't buy Apple, and obviously Amazon as well are too big. But Warner Bros. I could see that.
Sure, like any studio, like sure. Look at the reputation of Fox. How, well, I think we think about things differently though. Like, I guess we're definitely getting away from the gaming side, but just we think about things differently now. Like, I don't think like 20 years ago you'd be like, okay, 20th Century Fox, you might have an idea of it, but maybe it's just we're more in the know now, and there's more information available now that we're like, oh, Fox. But like the properties that Disney got when they got Fox, like you can see the influx on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Like it's not much. Like whatever.
But I mean, to bring it back around to the gaming thing, right? See, it's when you look at it from a financial perspective, it's insane. Like, see those 3 deals that happened in January. The total equation of it all, $85 billion changed hands in 1 month.
The biggest one was Microsoft, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I think it was.
Microsoft was a big chunk of billion. How much was
that's
that?
Microsoft, the Zynga deal, and the PlayStation Bungie deal.
The Bungie deal was only like $3 billion, though, wasn't it?
Yeah,
So Microsoft must have been like 70 something.
Can't remember. I've got a statistic somewhere, but
do not Google.
12.7. No, this is Zynga deal was 12.7 billion. Which, I mean, that's a mobile company and it's still $12.7 billion. Like, it's insane.
I know, but like, think how much. Like, I didn't really realize the influence of mobile gaming. How the microtransactions are like through the roof with mobile gaming. It's absolutely insane.
Well, kids playing them too, isn't it?
Exactly. Just using their mum's credit card.
Well, I've been recently playing a crossword game on my phone, right? Guess how much it is to remove the ads from a fucking crossword game?
15 quid.
Yes.
Aye.
What?
12
You're having a laugh?
to remove fucking ads. Right?
Oh my god.
Art and fun is dead. The corporations took it and we're not getting it back. It's over.
So, obviously, we spoke about it like from a consumer perspective. Well, we haven't really, like, do you think this will affect games price-wise? Do you think games go dearer? If there's monopolization, do you think that'll lead to individual games costing more to make, costing more to buy?
I mean, there's there was like, I remember in the 2000s it was like £39 was for a new game. Now it's went to 60.
Yeah,
I can live with that. I can
be
live
happy
with
with
paying more
that.
for a game if it's not full of microtransactions and it works.
Aye, it depends on the title.
Like, I bought Dying Light off the PlayStation Store, fine, right? Totally give them my money, I don't mind, but have the game fucking work.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, see games like Red Dead 2, which 90% worked when it came out. It was a massive game that you sank hours
A
into.
masterpiece.
I'd have paid
absolutely.
90 quid for that.
Hands down. Couldn't agree more.
Do you know what I mean? You could put an extra 30 in that, and I think it would still be worth it.
It'd be worth it.
Yeah.
And although I'm not a big fan of The Witcher, I think The Witcher 3, that's kind of consensus. Well.
Oh yes, that's. Oh my god, that's insulting.
Like,
no, yeah, you would definitely sink more money on that.
Because of how much is in The Witcher and how much time and stuff you can put into it, it's probably worth a bit more than just 60 quid.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I think
It's weird that some games, like, you get so much, like, and it's not even just your fucking, what's the word, grinding. Like, you're literally doing good stuff for a long period of time, and it still costs the same as any other game. Like,
it's storytelling at the end of the day, man. See Call of Duty. Like, I don't know what they're going to do with like Activision. Like, I don't know why that was such. I know that's just a small division within them, but like Call of Duty's ran its course, right? There's no way.
Nah,
no, really. You think it will?
Warzone has breathed such new life into COD. COD was dead until. Mate, I don't know how they also had a heads up that the pandemic was coming. You see the fact that they had a free-to-play battle royale ready to go just as the pandemic hit. That was a stroke of genius. Like, everybody and their mom was playing that, and it just. And although I play it for free and I've not bought any packs, it still breathes new life into the franchise.
Yeah,
and I think something to carry them. You know,
any game that you have the option to buy stuff, you will, regardless. Like, I was playing, I haven't played it since before Christmas or since I got the PlayStation, but like the Avengers game, I just didn't put any money into that. And I kind of feel bad now because it's gone on so long. I was like, I should probably just. I've got like I got X amount of crack out of it, but any game that if you can get by without paying for stuff, you will just get lots of fucking people who will happily sink. Like, I was seeing people spending like $200 fucking whatever on costumes happily, like, every fucking other week. There's people who have that income and are just of that mindset that will put the money into it, even if it doesn't affect the game.
They call them whales, don't they? Like, if somebody just sinks money into, like, whether it's a AAA game or whether it's like Candy Crush or something on your phone, you get folk that will spend thousands, like literally thousands into a mobile game. It's crazy.
Yeah, and I think there's people too who aren't fully into any game, so you will get people who will probably never owned a console in their life will happily fucking spend money on a game on their phone, like.
Yeah.
You know,
or folk that, like, my mate started playing COD because he's not really into like first person shooters, but we need an extra person for Warzone. And then they released the Saw pack. You could play Jigsaw, and that's like his favourite film. He went and bought the Saw pack for like 15 quid. He doesn't even like COD, but he likes Saw, so there's 15 quid. Like, people like that are just waiting.
And you're just a life-size Saw puppet.
So do you think we're just left behind in the whole, like, I'll just pay for a game and that should be the game? Do you think we're antiquated now?
I would say no, because I do like to think I'm quite like on the pulse and stuff, but I'm also in my 20s. Let's be honest, the market that really matters is like
teens.
13 to like 19. That's like the gaming. That's where they get all their money for. Like, really, it's like credit cards and stuff. So
I mean, would you do like a standardized thing where like pay £100? Every game's £100. Because I think games are like what you were saying, like The Witcher, Red Dead, I would happily pay £100. But if we had a standardization thing, it would just make. I mean, like, games are shite as it is now, but like it could just make them just even worse.
And think about it, like, how do you equate that before a game comes out? Because, like, imagine you saw the trailers for the Order 1886. Remember that werewolf game that the graphics were amazing?
They're beautiful.
And they were like, oh, this game's going to cost 90 quid. Imagine you bought that and it lasted 4 hours. You'd be so pissed off. Do you know what I mean?
There'd have to be.
How do you
have to judge it on content and fucking quality of. You know, because like you could have a game that's easily fucking 90 hours, but that 90 hours could be shite. But something like The Witcher, where if they have a certain mechanic set up in the game or a certain type of repeating side quest that's of a certain quality, then you'd be like, that's worth it. But are they not kind of moving more towards like a streaming gaming thing anyway now with?
Well, I think
Game
that's
common. I think
like this is with all the corporations buying it. It's going to be, games will be subscription based rather than just buying a game. Yeah. Are we heading to that way? Which
I like owning my games though. I found it really awkward going to Steam. I liked having the discs. Maybe it's just like me.
No,
you're like that.
I'm right there with you, right? I mean, look at my shelf. I've got comic books everywhere. Like I like physical media and I like vinyls and stuff. Like I do like that shit, but the fact that Sony released a discless PS5 and one with a disc shows you that that's clearly what they're edging towards.
Aye, that's a
Yeah.
Well, I'm very much on the digital thing. I'll just download the game. Like,
Don't
I
even
don't
know.
need the disc anymore.
It is,
Fuck that going to
if
a shop.
if a game on sale on Steam, like that Ghost Runner, I haven't even played it yet, but that Ghost Runner came out last year, that's still like 45 quid in the PlayStation Store. It was like £50 on Steam.
Yeah.
So, like, no brainer, do you know what I mean? Like,
It was a
stuff
good
like
game.
that, I will. Was it?
Good game.
I've got it installed, I've just not got it yet. But,
Well,
my next question is, how do you think it's going to affect game development? Because it's all well and good talking about just being selfish and I want to buy games and stuff, but there's folk that just want to make a game that just can't, and I don't think this is going to help matters. I think this is going to make it even harder for people to get independent people to get their foot in the door.
to get the published stuff.
Well, is there not like a thing, say, like on the PS Network, where you do have these kind of cheaper games, and then with like Steam, you do have these kind of smaller budget
Right.
games?
There's a whole saga about Steam Gainlight. Remember that shit show?
Yeah.
Steam Gainlight, where it was basically you could buy the game before it was finished. And
Oh yeah, yeah,
developing
yeah,
it,
yeah.
and then of
the
course
alpha.
Kickstarter and all that other shit as well. But in terms of actually buying it through one of these services, it was Steam Greenlight, and then they changed the name. Early Access was it, or maybe it was the other way around. PlayStation and Xbox, I don't think have.
Xbox had
anything
one
like
for a
that.
bit.
They did for a while, yeah.
I think it's gone.
Yeah.
They did have that.
I don't know if that's the answer, because I don't think there's too many conmen out there, and I just don't think that there's enough. How many, for example, from Steam Greenlight, what game came out that went on to be
A hit.
a hit?
Rust, maybe?
Among Us? Was that one of them? Was that an indie game?
Aye, Rust was an indie game it started, but like there's a game that is came out, like I've been playing it recently. It's called Escape from Tarkov. It's just a PC one, I think, and it's been in development for 4 years, I think. And it's like, well, when is that going to actually
does
get
it come
released?
out?
What's that PC game
Yeah.
that's set in space? It's generally been in development since we were in college, like 10 years. I can't remember what it's
Don't
called.
know.
Is it the one that you're just in space? You just travel around?
Ah, no,
You
I've no
A
idea.
couple of them. There's one, the one where you go into like self-generates worlds or.
Oh,
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
Sky.
that-
Oh, that's no.
That's what I was
remember.
thinking.
That's
aye.
okay. The Sky,
But, like,
what that was.
Like, even say going back 10 years ago, I can remember my mate who had Xbox, and he was just playing this fucking dirt biking thing where you go on and it's very basic, or like these two, like Cuphead.
Trials? Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Is that not like still a thing? Like,
Yeah,
you just,
yeah.
I'm not even like, maybe there's more money behind them, but they're smaller.
thing
They're
is-
not AAA games.
Got
See-
microtransactions, isn't it?
Aye, and see those games you're talking about, the Trials games, I'm pretty sure that's EA now.
No, it's Ubisoft.
Is it?
Ubisoft.
Oh, sorry.
It's
You're
Ubisoft.
right.
But it's all microtransactions, same
But,
shit. Like, yeah.
it's like a corporation milking the gamers. Like, it's not.
Not the same.
It's a glorified mobile game, let's be honest. Like,
Yeah, I just assumed there was games, like, because even my mate who, I can't say any details about it, but his game is like, I was like, is it a AAA game? He's like, well, no, it's a smaller game. It'll just be on PC and like maybe, perfect world, it could get to PlayStation Network or whatever or like that. But he's like, he's got funding and like maybe 5 people working on it. You'd probably kill me if I'm saying any of this, but I haven't mentioned anything about the game. Let's say there's 1,000 people working on it just to keep the information away. But like the way he was saying it, it's nowhere near a AAA game, and it's not even like it's independent. Like
Mhm.
I just kind of assumed that there was, and like even from seeing these kind of like more old school type games on Steam and on PlayStation, like traditional, more like not traditional, but old school platformers.
well, PlayStation have been more supportive of indie than Xbox have. Xbox haven't really pushed any big indie games. I guess. I can't think of any like Xbox exclusive indie games. Whereas PlayStation, you've got like Rocket League was independent first, eventually got bought. But
Yeah,
there's loads of PlayStation titles that they have pushed. The Limbo and Inside, that studio, I think again they did eventually get acquired, but they were independent at first. So there's more support for it, I think, on Sony's side than there is on Microsoft's side.
yeah.
Making that way, Bill. I don't know if that's a kind of company mentality or maybe a culture thing, since one's Japanese and one's American. But
Do you think it's just like the amount of money that people just like offer little small indie companies is just unrefusable? Like they would happily
No.
just take it and just forget if the game is good
Well,
or bad.
you could risk it, couldn't you? You could be like, oh, if we could sell our game, maybe we make a couple of million, or Sony will give us 5 million to put it on PS Plus for free.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, well,
it's tough, isn't it?
that's the thing. that's a good point. Actually, with PS Plus, there's been a lot recently that it's like day one on PS Plus, and it is like kind of smaller indie games. And the whole thing with that is apparently been a thing recently. Like, why is this happening so much? And it's because a lot of these studios have actually literally said the words, "We wouldn't be able to finish this game without that funding."
Without that help.
They give you like that
Yeah.
5 million or whatever it is. Like that carries them over the line. So you're cutting your nose off to spite your face. Like, you can get your game out there. It's in PlayStation Plus, so it's on the kind of homepage of the PS Store. But after a month, they didn't give a shit.
Well, I think the example
Do you know what I mean?
to like best like against that argument would be Rocket League.
Yeah.
Launched day one on PlayStation, total hit.
Took off.
Then it fucking pivoted to the other platforms, made a ton of money.
It's free on
Then
Steam,
it was free to play
Yeah.
on all platforms. So the PlayStation Plus probably in the grand scheme of things meant nothing to them. Now.
Yeah.
But that's a
But
hit.
it got them. Aye.
I got them on the page because it'll be filled with. See if it's free, it'll be filled with microtransactions. That's what's keeping it going.
What is now? You look
Is it?
at
I've not played
that
it
is a
since.
bit,
Is
yeah.
it? I've
But it's
actually-
not that bad. Like you can
Right.
still play it. It's fine.
Yeah. What game that was? Like, who would have thought 2015 you had The Witcher 3, Metal Gear Solid 5, a bunch of other big AAA, Tomb Raider, Rise of Tomb Raider came out that year.
Rise of Tomb
And who
Raider.
would have thought the best game of the whole year would have been Rocket League? Like, absolutely 100% stole the thunder for all the big.
100%.
big
It was
studios.
a good game, but it was
And that's-
solid.
Aye.
It was low concept, but it
And you play it
it
100
worked
times,
well.
it's still fun. I mean, it's 7 years old and it's still fun to play. Like, it doesn't get old.
I think it's like the replayability of games is like a crucial factor. Like it kind of goes to like Resident Evil 2 as well, like how easy that is
Right.
to go back and play.
I
Like
agree,
Rocket
right?
League is like the same thing.
The problem with that is though developers and especially publishers have clocked onto that, and now that's how they're marketing games. Oh, there's only one level, but you can play it so many different ways.
Multiple
So yeah, loads of
times,
replayability. Like that's the bullshit kind of they're trying to sell you, and
Mm.
it's like that's not what makes replayable games fun. It's make a good game, and if it's fun, we'll come back to
Yeah.
it.
We'll come
Don't
back
make
to it.
it- Oh, you can do all these different things and different assassinations and different like
Yeah.
just I don't know, it just feels so corporate and forced. Like just give us a fun game, and if it's fun, the replayability comes with that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
That's very
Instead
well
of like overthinking it and over marketing it, it's just I mean, it's an industry, it's all about money, like obviously that's what they're gonna do, but
Yeah, but do you want your characters to look like Ronald McDonald for £5 a month?
hell yeah I do.
Oh yeah, there we go.
But I
Well,
don't know, just
It goes back to the point. Make a good like how good like Slender Man right? How like that? I remember playing that in school. How shite was that? But
Yeah.
it got people talking.
yeah.
It was like a kind of hype, and now that's like a whole horror genre now. Like there's like just a scary guy standing and stuff.
Yeah.
It is frightening, but like it is about like if the indie developers do it well or they create something new, it will get spread around. But you will eventually get bought. I mean, I don't think anybody's going to say no to $10 million, to buy a property. So it's like,
You don't know though. Like that's the thing. Like you're saying, Slender was basic and it was made in a basement or whatever. But I mean, eventually, not that it was any good. Apparently, the movie was shite. But eventually, they made a movie out of it. Like,
exactly.
kinda nuts.
Build,
I mean, where
it
it came through, like,
Did it start as a like an internet kind of? Is that a
yeah,
creepypasta?
It was a folklore creepypasta thing. Yeah,
yeah.
somebody photoshopped some
Deep
footage.
I say that like a very old man. Is that a creepypasta? Is it just like a story? It was like a fucking internet urban legend,
Yeah.
and then it became a
Yeah, pretty
game.
much.
Yeah,
But
I think somebody took it. And,
fair play to whoever decided to capitalise on that because
Hmm.
it took off.
You've captured something simple. Like there was that thing. I think it was just like a short film about. It could have been a fucking like a TikTok or not a TikTok. What was the one before? A Vine.
Yeah,
Where the person turning
yeah.
off the light and then the person just get every time they
Siren
turn
Head
the light.
was a TikTok, right? I'm totally out of the loop with TikTok. I sound like
No.
an old man.
I think this thing might have been like an internet short where it was just like someone was turning on and off the light, and every time they turned off the light, you could just see the kind of outline of a creature there. or
Yeah,
person.
yeah.
I got closer, but it got made into a film there
Yeah.
2 or 3 years ago.
That was that was the guy that made Shazam, I
Yes.
think.
Yes.
Like so, like
It was.
he wasn't a director. That was an indie guy.
He
So
was a
it's like
YouTuber. He was a YouTuber.
aye.
Yeah.
And now he does. I was watching. He does like tutorials of how he made Shazam and stuff. And
I like to
Really?
be honest to us as well.
Yeah.
Like, I've heard him in podcasts and stuff, and he was like, "This was shite, Shazam," because the studio came in and made us change it. Like he just changed it like that, and you're like, "Well, mate, you're still making the sequel, and you're getting the balls to say things like that." That's fair enough. Like, yeah, it's pure honest about it.
but like, see, I was going to bring it back to the game. See, like EA, right? I fucking hate EA, right? But I think Like they're doing a good thing with like delving the work into many kind of studios. Like I think Moto Studio is the guys that are doing the rebrand of Dead Space. So
Yeah,
they're
do
made.
that
They're,
as though they open these studios, hire a bunch of people, make one game, and then fire everybody. Remember Peter that
oh
bought
yeah.
He worked on one of the Need for Speed games
I have that DS Need for Speed game.
for like a year, and it was just, nah, mate, don't get a job anymore. Like, they do it all.
Oh really? Is it all fixed term? Like it's all like a
Oh,
year and then
aye.
you're done?
They'll open a studio, make a game, shut a game, and then just close the studio. Like,
Really?
totally
Oh.
yeah.
I think
Wow.
EA have an office in Galway in Ireland. A guy I used to hang out with. Egg it. I'm just trying to find it first. But I'm pretty sure a guy I used to know like works for EA in like Galway. They have an office down there.
Job, but... just sell out like that. So right, we've kind of covered a kind of spectrum here. Who's next? Who's going to get bought next? Do you think? Because the way I see it, I don't think that the PlayStation buying Bungie thing is anywhere near equating the same as the Activision Blizzard acquisition.
Yeah, because it's like
Oh, no, yeah, nothing.
76 billion compared to 3 billion.
All these
Like,
franchises, PlayStation will get fucking Destiny. Do you know what I mean? Who cares? Yeah. So, who's next? My money is on Capcom or Konami.
No, there's no way.
What, being bought by one of those, by Microsoft or thing?
Sony. I think Sony will buy one of them. Why not, Chrissy?
I think, well, I'm thinking like the titles that Capcom have, they would be enough to be self-sustaining. I don't think they would want to be under an umbrella. But
Umbrella, Resident Evil.
I know a wee comeback. But I just my instincts went no. But see, to be honest, like I never thought Fox would get bought by Disney. So I was saying, no, that's never going to happen. So
I don't see them buying. EA has been rumoured. I don't see that. I think EA are too
big in the right. Capcom is Japanese, isn't it?
Japanese.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing. Capcom and Konami are both
I was about to say, oh well, Capcom are Japanese, so like they wouldn't want to be bought by Sony, but
I think
Japanese, aren't they?
Sony are more inclined to. Well, I thought that they would be more inclined to eat on their own turf, kind of thing. But just bought Bungie and they're like a US studio, so there's not get friendly, to be honest.
I guess like if you're taking it in a time frame of like 5 years, especially the way like the film industry seems to be going, there's nothing like anything could fucking happen in 5 years, really. Like,
oh yeah, it's crazy. Well, that's why I figured talk about it now. See, to be honest, by the time we upload this, the will have probably bought somebody else. Like it's exponentially grown. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got, as I mentioned earlier, I've got like the boys an article together, right? And I've just mentioned how 2017, right? It was kind of cute. Xbox went in the back foot. Phil Spencer walks out. So 2017, Lionhead and Press Play Studios were closed, and then it was E3 2018. Spencer walked out and announced that he had acquired Undead Labs, Playground Games, Ninja Theory, Compulsion, and Initiative. So 5 small studios, right? That was the kind of first public display of that. And then obviously the Bethesda thing happened like a couple of years ago. And then in 1 month we've got 3 big purchases. So it's happening so much closer and closer together that I don't see us even getting to summer without another studio being bought.
Yeah. I watch Gamer Ranks on YouTube, and they were kind of saying, or there's a host from that, he has his own YouTube channel too. I can't think of his name at all now, but he was kind of saying it's like, you know, with the PlayStation buying Bungie, that like this has nothing to do with the Microsoft deal, unless they kind of knew in an industry way what they're doing, because like
these deals take a long time,
like 6 months or more. Yeah. So it's not to say Sony won't try and do something out as a kind of like a get one back or make a big play, but
what I can see them the push being, and I know that E3 is not as big a deal as it used to be, but I can see them pushing to get it through by E3 so that they can turn around and say if it is Capcom Resident Evil 4 remake, like E3, or if it's Konami, Metal Gear Solid reboot, Silent Hill sequel, whatever they're doing, you know, come out of E3 and be like, have that Microsoft. That's kind of what I'm predicting, but might be totally wrong.
Is there kind of a vibe that I maybe I just seen it as a meme somewhere or a tweet, but like someone was like, oh, can someone not just buy Konami? Is that to kind of maybe try and put fucking
people
Hideo Kojima back in the Metal Gear Solid franchise?
there is demand for Konami to be bought, but that's because they are, well, as some people are calling it, mistreating their IP.
Yeah.
They've not done anything with Metal Gear or Silent Hill except pachinko machines for the last 5 years, which is just gambling machines and
Oh, really? Yeah.
Japanese casinos.
And like, if they were bought, is there a chance then that Konami or Hideo Kojima? Sorry, I'm probably butchering the pronunciation of his name, but Hideo Kojima, the Metal Gear Solid guy, could be brought back in. Hideo Kojima.
We have speculated on that a lot. There is a rumor that is a caveat. Apparently, like the only way that they'll, I think Sony are talking about buying Silent Hill specifically, and the only way that they'll buy Silent Hill as if they can use Kojima. So I think there was a bit of back and forward with Konami.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if that's true. That was a rumor a while ago, and I've not really heard anything about it since. I've got a feeling Kojima is working on something new. I think he's working on a new IP, something weird and different. I mean,
it can only be played from the moon or something.
Well, his whole
he's an odd man. I don't know that much about him. I just know he's an odd man.
His whole shtick for years was that he was being kind of bottlenecked and making Metal Gear all the time, and he wants to make something new, and you were like, no, Metal Gear makes money, make another one. So the fact that he's broke free for that, I just don't see him going back. I don't see, why would he? He's a multi-millionaire. He's respected in the industry. Why would you go back and just something you did 10 years ago? Like, it just doesn't make sense.
He was ahead of the 5 of them, wasn't he?
5 of what? Sorry.
5 Metal Gears.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He was creative director all the way through up until he got fired.
And then what about the PSP games? Did he do them too?
One of them didn't have him involved. I think it was the first PSP one, but the second one did. But they were shit. I never played them.
And what about the Raiden game?
Oh no, that didn't. That was Platinum. That was Platinum, who are a solid studio. Platinum. Like,
yeah, I'm kind of aware of that.
Nier Automata, and they're solid.
I'd never really think of him as a Silent Hill guy, even though I think I heard that before, but already forgot it again since the first time I heard it. But I didn't even realize that's who he was too.
But I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on? Like, do you think, I heard Ubisoft, but I just don't see that happening.
I could see something like Amazon buying Ubisoft, something like that.
Really, like for a streaming thing, or just as is?
The whole studio, buy everything. Like
really, like I think Ubisoft is like went down, like as like games qualities went down over the years, 100%.
Man. 100%. And
I don't.
Amazon
They would get it quite cheap.
Everything. Well, that's what I spoke about earlier. I guess these corporations, they wait until public opinion
the weakest.
Is weak and the stocks are low, and they're like, we'll have you. That's the tactic, I guess. Although Ubisoft haven't done anything recently totally controversial, like Far Cry 6 wasn't a total piss up. I think it was a bit broken.
But didn't they have a couple of like monsters running their studios and stuff?
Ubisoft, yeah, they did.
Yeah.
But they've fired them and they've rethought their strategy and that corporate bullshit they feed you that you're like, I ain't bother me.
We've grown as a studio.
But like, they've got a lot of growing to do as a studio.
But like Ubisoft was at a point like they had Splinter Cell, they had Ghost Recon, they had Assassin's Creed. They had really big players in the industry, and they've like just ran their course. So that's why I was kind of thinking COD is like the same thing as that, but maybe it's
Ubisoft
not.
Ubisoft chased the money, man. Ubisoft used to be about single player decent games.
They did, didn't they? They lost
a
bit of that.
It just became online, let's make money. Like, look at Assassin's Creed series alone. Those first few games are story-based games. Look at Assassin's Creed now; it's totally changed.
I think they're better, but I think Origins was what they needed. I thought Origins was really good.
They did need something to change. They
did well.
They couldn't have just
made it like RPG. Like it worked. It really did work.
Yeah.
Is there not still some kind of like big single player games being made now though? It's not like it's not the whole thing. Is it not kind of come back in the last couple of years?
Honestly, it's kind of like a pendulum. Like back in the day, it was single player games. Like people loved like your Uncharted and your single player games. Well, like the early 2010s.
Metal Gear Solid,
Halo, I guess. Like
pretty much every game because we didn't have inject capacity.
There was a lot of like single player experiences, and then it became all about Destiny, Apex Legends. One bullshit. I mean, that took over, and Battle Royale also had a big effect on it. And it kind of seems like the pendulum swung back recently because people are getting a bit fed up with like Battlefront and all these online.
Yeah, but like like God of War, like it's still a thing to aim for, to strive for, to get a really good solo game.
It's a bit surreal, man. I remember when they announced the Guardians of the Galaxy game, right? And I think it was because of the Avengers backlash. But who was it developed the Guardians game again?
It's not Square, is it?
I think it's Square.
Like the same lads, same crew.
So they walked out on stage and they were like, this is going to be a single player experience, and I get a big cheer. And I'm like, see the fact you need to announce
That used to be the standard.
Yeah, like what? Like I realise that they're also trying to say like this isn't going to be like the fuck up that we did with Avengers, but just I don't know. I just a bit kind of it sticks in the throat when they have to be like, oh, this is this. It's like you know it should be.
But say like Red Dead,
almost like it's just a form of storytelling. Like it's always has been. Like why are we overcomplicating it? Well,
is Red Dead kind of like thought of as much of an? Like, I know I'm aware. I think that there is an online capacity to that, but
yeah.
Is that how it's living now? It's not just people playing it over and over
It's
again.
usual. If you want to talk about Rockstar getting greedy with online games, we can go to GTA. But the Red Dead thing, I think they released it separately, right?
Online. No, I think it came out maybe like a week after or something.
And
you can no, you're right. You can buy Red Dead Online for like a $5. You can buy Red Dead Online. That's right.
And is it a whole thing like with Goofy?
That's delayed on PC.
Aye.
Is it a whole thing?
Mad Linus, like Linus Tech Tips, and it was GTA.
Oh yeah, and he's all old.
And GTA 6 for PC, and he's like a pure old man. I just Rockstar. It's their own fault. Well, not mine because I don't like online games. But anybody likes online games, it's your fault that we're not getting GTA 6 because everybody's been buying bullshit in the casino and GTA 5 and giving Rockstar all this money. And to be fair, I can see from their perspective. Why bother making a new game?
Yeah.
Literally millions rolling in daily.
But it's just a refresh bot.
What is?
Like GTA 6. Just do the same thing again.
Yeah, they will.
Like, just start it again. It's not the counter. But, like, add a wee story for people like us.
And then they'll milk it for an hour.
Yeah, fuck it. But I want the story.
No, I think they got a real kick up their arse when they tried to release those fucking remasters. Like, I think they realised, oh fuck, these guys are watching us. If we fuck up, we're going to lose everything.
Did the market show that? Did it sell? The trilogy?
No, I didn't.
I was going to buy it, and then I seen the reviews, obviously didn't buy it.
I'll find out.
I think that's the only thing they listen to. They actually don't give a fuck about what you put in your subreddit. They only
they don't. They care about the sales.
I was so excited for the trilogy. I was like, bouncing.
So was I.
Yeah.
And then the memes and the compilations were just that was the best thing about
it.
Yeah. The majority of the internet disliked it, but didn't mean they didn't buy it.
Is it PC that you can get the proper versions of them that they released?
No, they blocked them, mate.
They removed them from the Steam store, so like you can't actually get them unless you.
You know, it's always a good sign when they remove.
What was it? Where was it then that like the remaster was such bad quality that they gave out a more older version? Was that on one of them?
That's a Rockstar.
It may not have been Rockstar, but.
Oh no, that's the entire history of GTA. Right, so it looks like they've not actually released the numbers for the GTA trilogy, which suggests that it must have sold very poorly. Yeah, we're almost 6 months after it came out. There's no numbers online. So
I don't get it, but Rockstar have the talent to do this. Like, just put a wee bit of effort in.
I think they have the talent, but they don't have the drive, especially the ones at the top. Like, the drive's there.
It is all marketing people, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because they did not hand that off, that whole development team, to like
Maybe right, actually. You're right, it was a third party.
A third party, so they're like, I don't give a shit. It's like, I think they were the main people.
It was QA tested. How did that pass QA testing? That's what I want to know.
Do you think it was like 16-year-olds who QA tested who'd never played the original?
Oh no, it probably was. It probably was. Like people that.
Oh, this is cool.
Yeah. Oh.
Good memes though.
Yeah. Great.
Positive, do you know what I mean?
That CJ's date with just like the round head.
Mate, see when you were driving like a car and you went into first person and then like pressed the reverse camera and it would just be a close up of CJ's face.
That is a hilarious.
Like up close, man. That was good shit.
Did you get it? Yeah.
No, just
the memes. Yeah.
Games
the same thing.
A solid video, just the one time.
It's the same thing.
But yeah, I mean, the industry's kind of gubbed. I'm on a bit of downer now.
I don't get it. Like creativity. Like you look at TikTok, and it's pretty. I don't do TikTok, but it's relatively creative, right? And anyone can make a film now because we all have fucking cameras and stuff, right? But all the big films are lacking creativity, I would say.
Yeah.
And then if you wanted to make a game, it's the best time ever because you can get Unreal for free, right? They only charge you after you make so much money, right? It's free. Like, you can use Blender for your 3D modeling and stuff, which is free.
Free.
So the tools are all there.
Uh-huh.
But why does it seem like games are less creative now than ever? In my opinion.
Because I think back in the day it was probably easier to pitch a game and get a team together.
Yeah.
Like, unless you're a jack of all trades or you know a lot of people that are willing to work for nothing, I know myself, I've tried to make an indie game
Yeah.
before and it didn't go anywhere because shit, I don't want to pay people. Like, do you
Yeah.
know what I mean? And that is the major hurdle. I think if you're able to, I don't know, because I don't work in the games industry. I don't know what it was like 20 years ago, but I think 20 years ago it was the case where if you walked into a studio and you had a good idea, they'd be like, "This is quite a good idea. Let's get some
Give
people
it a shot.
working
Yeah.
on it." And I don't think that now. I think it goes through about 6 meetings before
Yeah.
some company head says,
Oh,
but,
more than
but
that,
you need
man.
to have this many microtransactions in it." And
I
it's just
think,
totally
yeah.
different. It's just a
I
different.
don't think it's based on story anymore. It's based on how much money it will sell, and it's
Oh,
like,
100%.
That's the
yeah.
thing. The thing about that was the thing that pissed me off about the Guardians thing. The bullshit where they were like, "Oh, this is a single player game." They're not saying that because that's what they wanted to make. They're saying that
No.
because they know that the consumer is pissed off with online experiences, and they think they'll make more money doing that.
Yeah, the fact that they
They're
had to
not doing it
clarify
like
it.
the good of their heart, like out of the moral cause they should. They're doing it to make money. Like, let's not piss about it. It's what it's all about, and it's just a bit depressing, especially when it's an industry that you kind of that I want to kind of get into, whether it's writing about it or actual game development. It kind of puts you off that and all the sexual harassment. Doesn't seem like a very work, to be honest. Do you know what I mean?
It seems,
It's neckbeards and just
Crunch.
absolute scumbags that care about money all the time and force their workers to do crunch and not pay them and not see their families. And yeah, it doesn't sound great.
I had the choice, didn't I? Go into gaming industry, go into architectural industry.
Yeah.
And I thought the gaming was toxic. So.
No, it is. But is it worth being creative? Because my mate Danny, he is a programmer for Splash Damage, and he told me recently, he's like, "Mate, this is murder," because they'll send him, they'll be working. I think the last game he was working was a Google Stadia game.
Yeah.
So it'll be a Google Stadia game, a platformer or something, and they'll send him it, and he'll be like, "Right, see this one level, this one part of this one level, you're clipped through the wall, or you're instant death when you touch this bit of water." And he spent like a full week just coding that, like correcting that. And I'm like, that doesn't sound fun. That doesn't sound like
It's not art.
It's not creative. It's, do you know what I mean? That's so corporate. You need to specific a specific part of this one game, and that's no. Yeah, it's just that's not art.
But
it's
if you
stifled.
click through that and that product becomes released, people on Twitter will tell you to die.
Yeah. We'll lose
Because you
our shit.
forgot to code that wall.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of scary.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, the response is
I
the
would
thing.
rather be shot down online for having a bad creative idea than something like that.
yeah.
Like, see,
Yeah.
a film that was 100% yours and people didn't like it, fair enough. But that's kind of bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah. My mate who was doing that indie game, like, he just said, like, he's kind of like, maybe have a concept for like a higher level game, like not exactly AAA, but somewhere in the next phase up. But at the same time, he's like, it's fucking horrible work. Like, it's a lot of work. He doesn't even know on those grounds if he'd want to do it again, just because it's like, you know, you're doing something really creative or whatever, but it's kind of fucking tough to do. Like,
But any industry is the same. I mean, the Spider-Man Far No Way Home, obviously everybody that's seen it loved it, right? But a lot of that was filmed one person standing in front of a green screen. They weren't even in the room together. Like, I don't think Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield met Benedict Cumberbatch, even though they had scenes together. Like,
That's cool.
all filmed separate. So, like, it is, every industry's going the same way. It's just, it's got so big now, and there's so many people involved. It's not just a bunch of creative people in a room together anywhere. It's
money, man.
yeah.
It's just money, man, isn't it? Like,
there's a lot of pushback recently, like in kind of film too, of like just people like the hours are crazy. Like, you're working fucking 14, 16 hours a day, like 7 days a week, like, and it's you know, like getting fucking simple things like food and breaks and shit. Like, it's obviously fantastic, I say, when the film's in and you get to celebrate it and stuff, and you know, there's being able to tell people I'm a filmmaker or whatever, but like the actual work of it, it's not fucking easy. Like,
I've heard some horrific stories about gaming industry, like getting timed on how long you spend in the toilet and stuff, and like
no way,
smoke
oh god,
breaks, and like it's crazy, like it's 100%. But I don't know, there is some pushback happening in that as well with the whole the idea of doing a 4D week for some companies and stuff. Like, it does look like there is some light at the end of the tunnel in terms of that, but then again, It's all about productivity and money. Like,
That's such a. If I feel like that takes away from the art.
in what sense?
Like
Your passion,
the money, like there's not. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's anything wrong with wanting to make a bit of money off your art. That's
Yeah.
fine, but it's the greed and it corrupts the
100%.
product, and it takes a lot of the fun out of it. Because I don't give a shit about microtransactions. I don't buy them.
Yeah.
And it doesn't upset me when there is them.
Yeah.
But it feels like it just like someone spent time coding the microtransactions instead of like I don't know modeling a nice dragon
making
or
a
some
fun
shit.
level.
Yeah. I don't know. It just I am at this point in my life least interested in gaming. I loved it. You know how much I love gaming, and right now not fussed about it.
Is that because the game's been released? Because of the way the market is? Because
I think they're boring.
Right.
I can't think the last time I played a game I was like, this is different.
I actually really agree with you, mate. Like I'm on the same wavelength as you. Like I've not played. I've have an Xbox. I've not played it in about 5 years.
Yeah, it's
So
just
like,
dull, and I think it's just corporate men that have went like, that's too dangerous, that's too risky. Let's not.
we're not going
I
to
think
make profit off
It
it.
probably does see quite a lot. That I think the most fun game I've played in the last couple of years anyway has been Call of Duty Warzone.
Yeah.
Because you're not with your pals.
That is fun.
It's your pals that
Well,
make it
Yeah.
fun.
it's
Pals,
fun.
yeah,
Like,
your pals.
it's not the game, and
People are giving it a lot of that. Like the thing you enjoy there is the actions of real people
yeah,
using the tools.
yeah, your mate telling you about the crap Tinder that you had last night is much more entertaining than it's happening in the actual game. Like that's not a good sign. Do you know what I mean? But 100%.
Yeah, but for me, like being out of it so long that like I'm coming in and I'm just cherry picking stuff now. Like, because I think I run the Batman Arkham games. You know, everyone loves them, but like I was like, it's all just fucking mini games. Like, what the fuck is this? Like, I think when you're supposed to fight Killer Croc in the first one, you don't actually fight him. I was like, there's no sense of completion in that at all. Like, it's just now that's a very personal view of it, maybe, but
That's weird you said that. We were literally playing
that,
Arkham City like a couple of years ago for the first time. I was playing it for the first time in about 10 years. And I don't know how. I would need to go back and play it properly because we were playing it like with company here and like just for a few minutes.
yeah.
I need to sit down for a few hours, but I don't know how well that stuff holds up now. But
Doesn't he look a bit rubbery? Because after playing Spider-Man, I have like I think of fucking all the Batman games on my PC. I haven't gone near any of them, but I turned one on one day. I was like, he just looks like a fucking Elastic Man. He's just like when he's doing the moves on people, his arms just go like this, and maybe because that's coming to it after playing Spider-Man, which is like a more modern take on that. Like,
I do kind of think that maybe it was something you had to experience at the time.
yeah.
Like that's always the case for me as a Metal Gear Solid fan. I always tell people to play the first one, and they're like, "This is shit." And I'm like, "Well, you had to play 89, right? It makes no sense."
Imagination filled in all the
you
blanks.
played 20 years ago. It was amazing.
Yeah.
And that's the case for a lot of kids. Like how you experience when you were a kid, you remember it through rose-tinted glasses, then you play it or you watch it. Like that's a bit shit. But yeah.
I replayed it there, the first one during the pandemic, and it was just fucking great still. And my nephew was just on about, Bloodborne is out and it's like remastered from PS2 graphics. Is like, I have no fucking knowledge of that game. That would be the most boring thing I could do right now in my life. Like, so he's like, "Oh no, it's really." I was like, "No, it's not gonna do anything for me. Like, I have no history to it. Like,
but
connection.
I mean, everybody's different. I suppose it's what you want to get out of your gaming. Like some people, as much as I'm kind of know that fussed about everything that's going on now in the industry because I've got a PC. I think I'd be more pissed off if Xbox were buying all these games and making them exclusive, like Fallout.
But
and
they're not making them exclusive. Xbox has been pretty good, I think.
Call of Duty's staying multi-platform, but I think Starfield is definitely exclusive, and I think there's rumours that the next
It's also
Elder
still on
Scrolls.
PC and stuff.
No, that's what I'm saying.
And they're giving it away on Game Pass.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if I didn't have my PC, I think I'd be more pissed off.
Yeah.
If I was just on Sony consoles, but
Sony's now releasing on PC as well.
they are,
which is
more and more
total surprise.
total U-turn. Yeah, like God of War's PC is.
yeah,
I remember you saying years ago that like you hated exclusives and you wish everything was on everything. And I think we're getting there, which is weirdly
Do you
uncorporate.
think so?
You're getting there slowly.
Yeah. I
certain
think we'll
ones.
see Xbox games on PlayStation.
I hope so.
And we've seen MLB The Show, which is a PlayStation game on Xbox.
Yeah.
What?
I think we're getting there.
MLB The Show?
Baseball.
Major League Baseball.
Oh, is that the title of the game? MLB The Show.
PlayStation exclusive baseball game for like 10 years. And they've released it on
It's now
Xbox.
something Xbox.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know, but a lot of their market though is like Sony was known as the home during the PS4, Xbox One era. I was get confused with Xbox S, man, because it's Xbox X and all that shit.
The
Anyway,
Xbox. Yeah.
last generation, right? Let's just put it that way.
The next
Sony was
generation.
the home
Star Trek.
Sony was a home for like entertaining single player experiences, like
Yeah.
Detroit and Spider-Man and Last of Us and stuff. And Xbox was more for like your kind of first-person shooters and stuff. That has kind of went away with this generation.
It totally has.
That has kind of changed.
But that's just the whole industry. I don't think it's particularly Sony. They're just
Yeah,
following.
no, as a one thing, it's that there's no games that came out that grabbed me and went buy a PS5 or buy an Xbox One or Xbox
When
One
was
X
the
or
last
so.
time you played a game that you thought this is different, or this is like different from everything that's been? Because I was playing like Ghost of Tsushima,
Mhm.
right? Good game, fine, solid, well built, not a lot of bugs, fine.
Well
But I felt I've played it a million times before.
Yeah,
I was
Like
going to mention that
Spider-Man
actually.
as well. I thought the web swinging was pretty good and a bit different, but I felt like
But
I'd
you've
played
played
that
it.
type of game before
Yeah.
1,000 times. I can't think of the last. I think Red Dead 2. I think we peaked at that. In my opinion, I don't think there's been a game better than that since.
That's a good question.
God of War.
I can't think. God of War was solid, but again,
God of War, great story.
Couple of
great
years,
combat.
but you've
God of
kind of
War
played that.
I played it a lot.
it expanded on what came before in its own franchise, but in terms of other franchises, I don't think it done anything new.
I loved God of War. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely loved it. One of the
Yeah,
best games
solid.
ever made, right? But I don't think
Yeah.
nothing's pushed the
Push the
industry.
goalposts.
It's very
Yeah.
stagnant, I would say.
So what are you looking for though? Are you looking for something from a big studio that will totally change the game, or are you just looking for
fucking-
something indie
just
like
anything,
original?
just something different. That's just like I don't know. That I would like to see it from a big studio. I want to see a big studio take
Yeah.
a fucking gamble
Yeah.
and just be like, "This is out of the box."
Yeah.
But I just feel it's the same checkbox, like
Yeah.
open world.
Especially Ubisoft.
Yeah, Ubisoft are the worst
100%,
for it. Yeah,
yeah.
but even Ghost of Tsushima's the same. Oh, castles, capture them, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
And like
And it's
support,
puppetry
anti-hero, like
yeah.
skills. It's fine. But is that what art should be? Just fine.
Yeah.
I disagree. I think art should be boundary pushing.
But I just don't know where we go for here because I think the industry is so stifled with money, and
But I think people will get
people
bored.
fear to make decisions. Think so? Then there'll be
And
an implosion.
once people are bored, the money will start going, and then they'll start panicking, and maybe they'll get a bit more risky.
But isn't that where kind of like the cheaper games come in for the innovation? So
Pardon?
like with the cheaper games, like the smaller games come in, that's where the innovation is. Like Rocket League, but like even though we've technically had games like that before, but like Among Us is like
you're all right. Rocket League is a fucking great example, of that, but it was a while ago.
Among
Us-
When's the next Rocket
Among
League?
Us was pretty original.
Yeah.
I mean, it's done.
Sadly, yes, I would agree. Among Us, yeah, probably.
It's probably
That
the
was
most original
different.
game in the last 5 years.
It probably is, yeah. And,
Fortnite,
like,
even though it's kind of like I guess it's a slightly different mechanic, but Fortnite, Minecraft, like they're in the last 10
yeah,
years.
Minecraft totally. Minecraft 100%, but that was 10 years ago.
Yeah, so
Mm.
Right? Like, I mean,
You're just building on that. They need something
Four
new.
4 years, 4 or 5 years, what's done it? And I think you're right with Among Us. I
Yeah,
think
it's
that is the
kinda
most creatively different game.
Yeah.
I didn't love it.
As
But
a-
it was fine.
But as a cultural standpoint, it's probably the only one.
It broke
that's-
into the market. It was different. Everybody liked it.
AOC was playing it.
Yeah, like
The president, well, possible. She could run for president. She's playing Among Us. Like it did. It was a cultural.
But it was different,
Whether
but-
it's been memed to fuck or not, like
like
yeah.
Mm.
But did it not suffer the same kind of thing? It worked because of word of mouth. It might have not been a success in the beginning.
Mate, Among Us was
Because-
out for 2 years before
Aye,
it
before
it.
Was it?
It came
before
out
it
like
came out,
2017 or something.
that's nuts.
So
And then it just blew
I
up.
love the fucking.
The gaming
like, issues
industry is
that
kinda
look
just
at the
stalled,
numbers,
though, isn't
like,
it?
11 a day, and then something's like,
Yeah.
what the fuck's going on here?
Hasn't the gaming industry kind of stalled more than say the film industry has in the last 2 years since the pandemic? Though that's kind of adding into it a bit. No?
I mean, the thing about games, you need to go to a cinema to see a film. You don't need to go to a cinema to play a game. So you would think that gaming and streaming would be the two markets that like made
don't get injured.
the most over the pandemic.
Yeah.
I don't actually know in terms of the numbers.
I was kind of under that impression. Like, well, that's what like maybe it's now, and then like you think like there's also been just new fucking. They moved on to new consoles now, but they just didn't have the games this time to come with them. So maybe that's an
Yeah.
extra thing that kind of has like made it seem even longer like than the usual. Maybe we would have seen some more stuff if.
I think it will come. I think Sony are always kind of like that. Like Last of Us didn't come out until nearly the end of the PS3 era, and even last generation Spider-Man came out like halfway through the PS4 era. I do think they'll get there. Just in the meantime, you need to give us a reason. You can't complain that people are buying PCs or going Xbox or whatever. Like, you need to give us a. See, at the end of the day, the onus is on them to prove to us that they deserve our money. Like, that is my whole stance
100%.
on buying any art. Do you know what I mean? The onus is on you. It's that bullshit sense of commitment that people have, where they just buy every Batman thing comes out or every Spider-Man thing, even if it's shit, they'll buy it because that's their brand. Like, I'm totally against that shit. I think you should buy something because it's good and you fancy it and you enjoy it and you want to experience it.
Well, you know me, right?
It's Sony haven't given us a reason to do that.
I was such a big PlayStation fanboy,
Yeah.
right? Total fucking diehard PlayStation fanboy. And I now have a bit of disposable cash.
Yeah.
I'm not buying a
Not
PS5.
bothered.
Show me a reason to buy a PS5.
Yeah.
But it's dull. It's just the whole industry right now is
Yeah.
dull.
And I've not been trying to get on other consoles.
The only thing about PS5 though, I'll tell you, is the Star Wars reboot. That's the only kind
It's
of inkling.
Republic.
Yeah,
Which,
that's
yeah.
it's the
And the
only
Wolverine
inkling.
game.
And the Wolverine game.
And the controller's fucking sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like
Uh,
that, I'm not going to justify paying $500 just to play a game. You know, it's hard to kind of.
There's no experiences you can't get on PS4 or PC that are just as good or better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, no loading screens is nice, but you get Final 16 for PC. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, there's not much, like, I have one, and, like, the only reason I have one is because at a certain point, they were so hard to get, I was like, well, I'll just buy a second-hand PS4, but then I couldn't find a second-hand PS4 for, like, under 300 unless...
Yeah, they shot, when PS5 sold out, PS4 shot in price as well. It was weird.
Yeah, but even, like, I was trying to Google, like, you could get it maybe in second-hand stores for about 300, and I was like, and I said it to my mates then, it's like, there's no point you spending 300 now on a PS4 if you could get a PS5, it's only 200 more, and you'll want to get one eventually. Like, it might be still too early doors or whatever, but...
If you're an early adopter, I guess it's an investment. I just don't see the justification in investing in something that don't give you a reason to invest in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I guess there'll probably be fucking 500 like euros, pounds, whatever for the next couple of years anyway. So like, I don't know.
Oh yeah, you'll be fine. They'll always be the same.
The one kind of, if we're starting to wrap up, man, let's try and end on a fucking positive. Like the one,
We're doomed, mate.
I feel pure
We're
dying
dead.
after this chat. But I think the one positive that could come from what's going on right with this mass market conglomeration that's happening, I think it might push an IP. And we might actually get some creativity. Like if right, for example, PlayStation buying Bungie, they only really have the one IP. They must have something else up their sleeve. Or must have been something,
Bungie free.
something pitched.
Bungie free, Destiny free.
No, but I'm
Destiny
hoping for
3.
like an original IP, just at least one that just gives us a reason to look forward to something coming out exclusively to a console again, and makes you think, I'm going to buy that because I want to play that game, I want to experience that thing, instead of just, I'm no arse, I'm going to wait another 6 months till I can get one that's cheaper. Like that is, for me, that's the argument now. It's like, it's so hard to get one, they're really expensive, and
I just don't care.
there's just no drive for it. There's just no...
You've got Kier, what's it?
Jerd?
Jerd, sorry.
Yeah.
You've got PS5, yeah.
Yes.
Are you bored of the controller yet? Because I've only used it once, PS5, and I thought the controller was blowing away. But how long have you had it for?
Since just before Christmas, but like I never owned a PS4. So I had a PS3. I probably sold it before it finished. Then I had an Xbox for a little while. Then I had a PC, so I was using the fucking Xbox controller. But I probably wouldn't be I still get a vibe turned it on. But like if I'd have bought a PS4, I'd still probably be just as happy. Because I played bits of PS4, but I haven't owned one myself. So like previous
have you
houses
tried
had
the PS5 at all? Yeah, the controller is, I would say, what's
solid.
it is unbelievable.
It's,
that
it's
feedback,
really clever.
like, but that's pushing. That's being
Yeah.
creative. That's
Yeah.
doing something different.
But the software's not doing anything with it, though. Do you know what I mean?
It's not, yeah,
the
exactly,
gap. That's
yeah.
the disparity.
I must try. There's the game that comes with it, but I can't think of the fucking name
It's
of it.
Astral Room thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that really
showed me it.
uses it like because like all I'm playing now really mainly is Days Gone, which I know it came out to mixed reviews, but I fucking love it. Like, to be honest with you, I just find it fun. I was playing a bit of God of War yesterday again, which I'm just jumping in and out of, and like I'm replaying Spider-Man, and I was playing Miles Spider-Man. So like, but I think even as much of a Spider-Man fan I am, I can kind of see that like you know, you can only play this game so much before it gets a bit repetitive. Like,
Yeah.
as any Spider-Man game would, really. But I still fucking love it when I am playing it.
I did love Miles Morales, actually.
I've
I
not
really
played Miles
liked it.
Morales. I've only played the main game, but I did feel like when I platinumed that main game, I was just done with it.
Yeah.
There was nothing really worth going back for.
I
once
think
I
Miles Morales
finished
was way better than that
Right.
Spider-Man game.
Really?
Miles better, yeah.
Miles.
it.
Yeah, we're like,
5 to play that, I think.
I'm just such a Spider-Man fan. I'm going to keep
Yeah,
coming
it's
back to
probably
it every
worth it.
couple of months.
The new one looks great. Spider-Man 2 looks great as well. They've got that coming. But I don't know. I think something needs to change. I think a company needs to announce something. These ballsy moves I do like. Like, I must admit, I get quite, even though I'm traditionally more of a Sony guy, when Xbox bought Bethesda, I get quite excited. I was like, holy shit, they're making moves. Like, see, there's nothing worse than a company just giving up and lying its back and being like, the other team have won. Like, a competition's healthy for the industry and it's healthy for creativity. And I think
It is, but they're too big now. Do you not think?
I do, but I'm hoping that out of that, something original comes. Like, whether it's just just a throwaway.
What about
Titanfall, like something like that. Just make something original. Titanfall's not exactly original.
No, it is original.
But
No, it was the free running. Yeah.
Titanfall 2, right?
They took a risk. They took a risk.
Specifically like Titanfall 2. Just give us another game like that, like something that feels kind of like a mid-tier game. Just on a.
I
budget.
platinumed that last year. I really liked Titanfall 2.
Titanfall 2 is
It's a
great.
good game.
First one was shite.
what about Nintendo? Like, oh shit, battery.
Nintendo
oh,
have their own fucking.
I just feel so outside.
Yeah, they've got their own kind of.
I feel like if I talk about it, people will start shouting at me.
People are really passionate.
Yeah.
Nintendo. In college, people started bashing them because
Oh
they were
my
playing their Wii
god,
U's.
yeah.
And they were like, the Wii U is a unique console. They get so defensive about it. And then to be fair, the Switch came out. The Switch was solid, so fair enough.
But I guess would they sell to a completely different different? They wouldn't really be in direct competition because there's a whole different vibe at Nintendo.
Yeah,
isn't it?
It's a whole
Nintendo.
different.
That's the one thing I can respect about Nintendo. PlayStation and Xbox are so worked up on like you've got console in November, so we didn't have a console in November. They've got an exclusive in May, so we didn't have an exclusive. Nintendo are like, we'll bring it when we want, man. We'll just
We're gonna hang in the
just
corner and draw pictures of fucking monsters.
Yeah,
like, they don't care.
Millions of people buy
Yeah,
it. So
yeah.
fair enough. Like, it's just.
Does Nintendo sell like way better in fucking like Japan and stuff?
I honestly think they do well worldwide.
Yeah,
I think they're just.
They're more.
Nintendo managed to kind of carve out that unique thing of like brand recognition because it does go. Nintendo goes back a long time, and also it's right. There's a kids market there because they are kind of kids games.
Younger kids, yeah, like family.
But see if you're an adult and you just want something simple, like I feel like Nintendo's a bit of an escape. Like
more games.
PlayStation, Xbox have got all these like adult worlds like Cyberpunk where people are getting their heads stomped in by like robots in the future.
Yeah, very
intense.
There's loaded up dildos in the background. Like Nintendo's just like simple, like you're a plumber and you need to get the princess and there's some.
He's a fucking one of
something
those.
to that. Like people, I want the head crushing, but
one of those.
It has a
the cooking games.
I think it has like a lasting. Obviously, it has a lasting like impact to it.
Yeah, it's a very like I tried to say this to a friend recently who's like way more into his. Well, I think he was actually talking about what's that mining Battle Rock. Battle
Rock Galactic or something.
It's like it's kind of a little bit like Minefield or whatever. Like, or is it Minefield? Minecraft?
Deep Space Galactic or something.
My nephew wanted me to play it. And I was like, it's this fucking mechanic shit with like it's kind of kiddie. And my another mate of mine I was talking to about it took great offense to the word kiddie, but like it kind of is. Like they're more cartoony looking than God of War or fucking Days Gone when I'm playing now. Like it's more gametic.
The insinuation of liking something kiddie, like we talk about superheroes every week in video games. Like I don't think I was saying.
Yeah, I want to make sure.
Really personally, and it's like, mate, it's fine. Like,
but the way I described it to my mate was like they have a thing for like figures, which I don't know is it a real word, but it's like toyetic. So like something that. And maybe I'm watching this from the Toys That Made Us videos on Netflix, but they use that phrase, or toyetic is something that maybe suits being a toy more. Maybe not again for like action figures like this, but gametic is kind of what I think of when I think of Nintendo, like Mario and shit. Like it's more. There's like you're saying a very basic concept to it, and it's just a whole different. I think it comes in on a different wavelength. Like I've never been interested in Nintendo because like it just never that whole vibe didn't gel with me.
What's another difference between Nintendo and the other studios? we were talking about like how PlayStation are more indie focused than Xbox is. Nintendo aren't really like that at all. They're more like, we'll give you like a Super Mario Maker and you make the game. You don't sell it, but you just make your own game. Like, which
When PlayStation
enough.
tries it and it bombs.
yeah,
And
dreams.
some of them,
Yeah.
yeah, like add-ons for one of my Far Cry's had that on my PC. That it was like a
To be fair,
map
the
maker.
level editor in Far Cry 2 was solid.
Oh no, that was a
thing.
piece of paradise. That was
That was
fantastic.
that was the good old days.
And
But,
the Dooms had it. The 2016 Doom had it, I think. Or maybe that's more common than I realised, but the game level makers.
I also think, like, with level editors and stuff now, like, I do think back, I'm like, how did I have the patience and the time to sit and spend, like, 6 hours making a ramp in Far Cry?
I know.
Yeah.
would never do that.
And testing
I mean,
it.
They were
Aye.
so good. The best level editors were like the Tony Hawk's games.
Yeah,
They were
solid.
They
outstanding.
could work,
But no,
yeah.
like, that's a good example, actually. I think that's what I might have spoken about this in an earlier episode, or maybe it was the other podcast. But anyway, I recently got the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater Remake 1 and 2. I got it for Christmas, I think, Courtney bought me it. And yeah, when I level editor, pure excited. I spent about 2 seconds in it and went,
Yeah, like,
nah.
shit. I know.
nah.
I don't know. Maybe because
Yeah.
it was new. I don't
I
fucking
think because we
know.
were young as well,
Yeah.
like, it's just different. I don't
Maybe
know.
yeah, it's a different thing. You have less things to distract you. Like I tried to open it up on Far Cry, but I was like, I don't really get a sense of completion after getting through a level that I made. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Like it's a better like to go into a place and
Yeah.
see what's going on as
Yeah.
opposed to
Less discovery.
not that I really tried it that much, but like okay, 10 of these guys come in, it nearly becomes just too much, and you're like, there's no.
I'm also very much
Character
like,
to it.
like when they released Super Mario Maker, I was like, mate, no, make the
You
game.
make the level.
Aye, exactly.
Who the fuck? Why am I making your game? Like,
What am I doing?
I have to fucking make it myself.
I gave you 60 quid because I thought you had made the game. Why am I making it? 100%.
Oh yeah, I love that. Fucking hell.
Fucking Japanese and make me.
We've games at home.
But yeah, I mean, in a way, it was kind of genius because they're selling you their own.
Yeah, it's on your engine,
Yeah.
aren't they? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's gas.
But yeah, yeah, that's probably a good spot to wrap up. I don't know if anybody else
that
has
yeah.
anything else
That was
to
a positive. Yeah.
It was humorous, so it was positive. But, like,
It
we've
was
given
like-
up for the industry, but like, yeah.
Yeah. So
But
you
I-
think we're all doomed?
I think we're doomed. There's no coming back,
Fucking off
and we
class.
should accept Bezos and Elon as our corporate overlords.
Mate, I'm getting a ticket in that space rocket. They're building that for a reason.
Really,
Oh, really? You going?
Yeah.
It is fucking like hot. So
It's just like Doctor Evil space
it is
rocket.
100%. Yeah.
Well, to be honest, the main reason I bought a PlayStation was for it to play all of the Spider-Man games, and any one that comes out. So there's a Spider-Man 2 in like 2 years, and then there's Wolverine in like 5 years. So I'll be happy. Whatever else Insomniac are doing.
Chrissy, what do you think's next? What's your prediction for the next 5 years? What do you like?
I'm think it's going to be okay. Like,
Really?
I really think it's going to be. They're going to take off with the wee indie games. I really do.
I hope
And
you're
the
right.
games
I
are going
hope
to be
you said
back
that was
again.
right, Jonathan, because you said that hopefully people get bored and there will be like a
Well,
reset.
the market
'Cause
will determine.
There will be.
It happened in the music industry in the 70s. Like, you had these guys playing like 5 keyboards on stage and people were like, this is shit. And then it
Exactly.
stripped back and then like Sex Pistols came out with their 3 chords and stuff and I've been mental.
Oh yeah.
That needs to
Yeah,
happen.
but have
with
you
games.
heard popular music now?
Yeah, I know.
Jesus
I'm not
Christ.
No, it's not just
But,
noise.
but gaming is a much younger industry than the music industry, so I guess that's what I'm trying to like say. That maybe we'll get to that same
Music
point.
industry
Like a punk
feedback.
rock
Like,
gaming industry.
Yeah,
but,
I don't know. Just
uh,
strip it back and just give us something fun.
I think my mate's game that I can't say anything about is going to be fucking the next big thing. So.
What we
And
actually
I'll tell you after we finish recording. I'll tell you like what the basic concept is, and I actually think it sounds really cool. What it is, it's not like absolutely game changing, but it's 2 things together. You're like, yeah. So that'll be the big thing.
My prediction is that Sony will buy a Japanese studio, whether it's Capcom or Konami. We might get some creativity because they'll be like, listen, we've bought you, you need to give us a new IP. Like,
I
whether it's
guess,
just them
Captain.
threatening small developers for new IP, I don't know. But I hope that leads to some sort of new ideas.
does Sony own Kojima Studio?
I don't know. Do they own?
Is it
Kojima
just like a
Productions?
weird like
I think it's just a partnership.
partnership?
It's a collaboration.
Do you not think they're
kinda
more
thing.
likely to buy them than Konami?
Yes,
Yep.
probably yeah. But yeah, I hope that I don't think they're done buying studios. I don't think Microsoft are done buying studios either. But regardless of what happens, I'm hoping that we get some creativity squeezed out of these studios, whether it's genuine or whether it's forced. I don't know, but I hope that it emerges as something fun. And I don't know. I think it's going to keep happening. I think it is quite worrying from a development standpoint. I think it's going to be harder and harder and harder to get your game noticed if you've just made a small indie game or whatever. It's going to be harder to compete with these big studios. But we'll see. I'm going to keep following it, and I'm probably going to keep buying games, and I'm going to buy Starfield for the PC when it comes out, and I'm going to hopefully, Sony will release some exclusives, and I'll buy Spider-Man 2 on my PlayStation, PS5 whenever I get it. Like, I will stick with it, but I do feel like it's a bit of an endurance test now. Do you know what I mean? I feel like being into gaming, just following it, it's like...
I think it's like a real lull.
The most exciting thing happening is these insane deals, but then you realise that these are just corporate companies buying other...
I liked Spider-Man, like the new, like No Way Home, right? But let's that Tobey Maguire and stuff turning up. But let's just not forget that was just lawyers in a room making decisions. That wasn't like an artistic point.
Nothing,
it was good, but
nothing gets made for the creativity of it. Like everything gets made with a financial incentive in mind. Like everything was made to make money. That's the truth, and that's always been the case.
Too sad. That is very much the truth.
That's always been the case. I don't know. I hold out some hope, but we'll see.
See, in the next 5 years, though, it's not going to be... Like, how long does a game take? It might take about 5 years to get a good game out, so there's nothing going to happen.
You would like to think that they're developing some stuff now that's not announced yet, but...
That's why they bought them, because they've seen some exciting stuff.
Honestly, I hope so. I don't necessarily know if I would bet money on that, but I hope so.
They could do it dropping games like fucking Beyonce drops albums. Just be like, bang, there it is.
Bang.
That'd be insane.
I've said that for years. You actually said that when Star Wars was coming back.
What?
You said to me when they announced that the Disney merger and Force Awakens, you said they shouldn't release any trailers. They should have one trailer that's just the Star Wars logo and the music and the date, just the date comes out, and that's it.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what they fucking do. Disney is Star Wars. Like they could literally just have Adam Driver wanking onto like a Coors coaster, and like people will fucking buy it. They don't care.
They can sell that, yeah. That'd sell.
Who cares? Like,
fantastic.
You can kind of see that in one of the early seasons of Girls. So
yeah. The point is though, I think with these companies and stuff, I think there is only certain companies that can do that. The way that Beyonce is one of the only artists, as much as I don't like Beyonce, she's one of the only artists big enough to drop an album without announcing it and just
Well, I think there's a certain amount of industry in that, even though they have to spend money on marketing. There's a certain amount of industry in that, and like shit generated. Like coming up to Spider-Man, there was only like 2 trailers, but there was fucking countless people making YouTube videos about it. So that makes a whole industry.
Well, I think the one that, in terms of gaming, that could do it would be GTA. See if Rockstar just released a trailer, Grand Theft Auto 6 out 2024. Pre-orders would be insane. Like, they don't need to show anything.
Yeah. People are going just insane thinking about it. Like,
I think that's one of the few
trailers are too long. Stop trailers. I don't like trailers. Give me an IMDb listing and I'll fucking buy the film. I don't care.
They could prop up fucking YouTuber, like fake, like just hire YouTubers to be like, okay, you're going to be this GTA thing. That's the streaming money. People fucking just speculating on it.
Yep.
Well, that's not a conversation. As the market online now is a bit.
Like
strange,
GTA, how much the market in GTA is going to be like $100 million, right? Yeah. Fucking just pay your staff. What about that? Try that, Rockstar. Just pay your staff like a decent wage. Might end up a better game. Who fucking knows? Like,
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, this will be funny in 20 years' time when we're all famous game developers.
No, we'll be dead by then.
I'll be gone.
Yeah, out of curiosity, Jerd, are you any wiser on this?
Space.
Following this conversation, are you any wiser on what's going on? Like, do you have an opinion, or
if this made you wiser, like something?
Who, me?
On.
Yeah, because you were the one that's going in. So
well, like, I don't have enough to generate much stuff to say about it, but I do watch an awful lot of YouTube videos, and some of them are gaming. So, like, nothing really blew my mind, really, to be honest with you. But I do know kind of stuff. It's like when you kind of say stuff, I'm like, okay. Then I had a couple of questions along the way, but like I guess it maybe confirmed some of the things I thought I knew about what was going on. But and like, I do watch a lot of YouTube videos, so it's just.
You've also kind of confirmed that kind of interesting thing about, like, I've always thought that, like, see if you just waited a whole generation, didn't buy the console, and then bought like PS5 obviously plays PS4 games. Jerd's now got a solid backlog of the last
Decent,
8 years.
pretty decent games.
Cherry
Yeah.
picking
Yeah,
classic
yeah,
games, like
Just
yeah.
hit the highlights.
Exactly.
And I have played some PC games, but fuck all. And like
Yeah.
even like the fact that I've been out of it regularly, there's so many games that like other people would be like, oh shit. I'd be like, this is fucking class. Like Days Gone, people don't like that.
Well,
That's the game I've been playing the most since I got the PS5.
That's the thing as well about buying games late. See if you're not caught up in the current conversation, you can form your own opinion.
Yeah,
You don't
yeah.
just need to go based on what the internet says.
Mm.
And maybe by the time you play Cyberpunk, it might be a playable game. Who knows?
Yeah. I like sci-fi and I like fucking shooting people. So I don't know.
But yeah, like I do think there is merit in that. Like just being out of the loop and just being like, right,
Yeah.
highlights here and
I think
that's it.
shit comes out so slowly too and changes so slowly. The fact that I've came back in, like I left halfway through PS3. I had an Xbox 360 for about a year maybe,
Yeah.
and then it was like 5 or 6 years. And even when I got the PC I have here in front of me, even when I got the PC, I was playing a little bit of Skyrim, but I play an awful lot of like fucking emulated games. So I still haven't played everything, and I haven't bought the new games all the time. So.
But I mean, I think that's just one last point to highlight is that the gaming industry is way more guarded than like the film industry. Like we know what Marvel's doing for the next 10 years. We don't even know what Rockstar's next game is. Well, I guess we do now.
Farmville
So
four.
GTA 6, but
And I'll be there.
Farmville.
Farmville.
But, like,
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean? No, like we
that
don't
was
know.
big.
A lot of we don't even know what they're working on, and it might be out next year, the year after. Whereas film studios will have a much more open idea of what's happening. So I wonder if that could also change when it comes to kind of on-demand streaming stuff. We'll see.
We'll see.
But yeah, that is our slightly disheartening, depressing talk about the gaming industry.
That's because you invited me on.
Why
It's
it's a
going to be that
mess.
way.
It steered us right off a cliff. But yeah, let us know what you think in comments. You'll probably hear us like months after we record it, so it may not matter anymore. But
Yeah.
because
We don't even have computer games anymore.
Don't
There's,
say
like,
anything mean about me, and my ego can't take it. Just be nice.
subscribe to the Pop Shop podcast and tell everybody that Joyce is a dick.
No, please don't.
We might make a t-shirt out of that as well.
Oh no.
But
Too
no,
many people would buy that. Don't do that.
I'd definitely buy it.
we should
Where's
work
my
this shocker figure into our logo. But we need something that represents pop.
Shocker, Pop
There you
Shop.
go,
Shocker.
Shocker. There you
Your
go. eh?
mascot.
There you go. What's the shocker thing?
Is it? Is that? I thought
Is that what it does?
gang singer or something.
I know.
No, the pop. Pop shock kind of sounds like a sexual thing to me, like a hand gesture.
Listen,
The
you.
Pop Shock.
He's black.
My mate who when Dan, when you said you're bringing your mate on, I was like, I have a mate who's kind of getting into a podcast in Galway, in Ireland, but he's not really into nerdy stuff as much, even though, you know, we like nerdy stuff, but he kind of generally hates all the superhero stuff now. So he's like, I don't think you want someone who's just going to hate everything on the podcast. I was like, well, you know, maybe we do. Maybe it works. What was I going to say? Oh, sorry. The point of me saying that was, he said he found 2 other Pop Shock podcasts online, so I don't think they're working now anymore, but we might have to.
Yeah. When I looked up,
Like
it was
them.
like an old one, but we'll talk about this off air.
Yeah.
Listen, thank you for joining us another week to bullshit about the gaming industry. Thanks for coming on, guys, and depressing the shit out of all of us.
Honestly, I feel
Yeah.
like I needed this.
I love
This
that.
is like a
Lift it up
sense
off
of
your
relief.
chest.
Yeah, since like Tories fucked like this healthcare system, I don't get therapy anymore. Like, it's a fucking great way to
Get it
live. Honestly, I have some opinions on this Ukraine situation, and I need to get them out. So,
How can we craft that?
honestly, if I get another more copy bear, it's like we'll just go for it.
I will enjoy that over everyone else who's on here. But no, thanks. Cheers, Jerd. Cheers, Chris.
Thanks for having me, Dan.
We will be back next week to talk about something else, I'm sure. Hopefully it'll be a bit more positive than what today was. But listen, good shit's going to happen, bad shit's going to happen. We need
to live through it. We need to live through it.
We all need to deal with it. So anyway, and listen, in the grand scheme of things, games don't matter.
They don't matter.
Like, no.
That's what's funny. They
No.
don't matter.
life
Find a hobby
just
that's
sucks.
more satisfying than gaming.
Yeah, I was
because
like into roller skating, like, and honestly, you don't get angry about roller skates, like, you just don't.
It's not like I need to put my roller skates on, but first I need to download an update.
I know, like,
I need to connect to the internet.
it's where I can go roller skating without going on Twitter and hating women. It's unbelievable. Like, with gaming, you have to do that. Like,
It's a rite of passage.
Right, on that note,
that was sarcasm, by the way. I
before,
just want
before,
to-
before we get cancelled and branded the same as Activision Blizzard, let's just wrap it up. We will be back next week to talk about something hopefully more kosher. Cheers, folks. All the best.
Bye.
Okay, look.